Welcome everybody. In this video we're going to tackle a little bit of cleaning around the axios module, and then we're going to work towards streamlining our video upload. So what we want to do, as soon as we select the video, we start uploading, and then we don't wait for the video to upload. We let the user to fill the form out, right? So while the user is filling the form out, the video is uploading, and then by the time the user presses submit, there is going to be either one of the two cases, right? The video is either uploaded or the video is not uploaded. And what do we do in that scenario? So this is the kind of thing that we're going to tackle. So first of all, I said we're going to clean up or we're going to do something with Axios, and the primary thing that I want to cover is our Nuxt modules. So if you just think of a module as like a plugin, a module, right? It's just a separate box that you just bring in to your application. And here in the Nuxt config, we have modules right here. You have a comment that points to the module docs. And yeah, going back, or rather not going back, going to the documentation about modules, there is information about it in the documentation. Go ahead and read this. These are literally, this is literally, you can think of it as you're just going to bring in some functionality into your Nuxt application, and you can share it between any other Nuxt application, and that's pretty much it. All right. Here are the docs for the Axios module. The primary thing that I want to look at are the shortcuts. So this is the way that you would use it, right? So instead of normal usage, right? This is the way that we're doing it now. We use the fetch style, so the fetch API, and all we have to do is append it with a $sign. All right. So at the moment we're grabbing data from the results object. We don't want to do that. There's no reason. We will. There is a concept of interceptors in Axios. We would rather use the response object in here and do something based on this. But other than that, also in terms of usage and how you use the Axios module that we have registered, is in your components or in your pages, you can simply inject Axios into your async data, and in your methods created, mounted, etc., you just say this.axios, right? So you don't actually need the import statement in your page or your component, right? And the same thing goes for your store actions. All right, you can just do this Axios, okay, and the $sign shorthand for just grabbing the data instead of the result with the status code, etc. So let's go ahead and translate some of this. So we're gonna go back to the application, go back to the code, and we're gonna go ahead into the tricks store, and what we'll do is we'll just go ahead and remove Axios import from here. First up is this line, right? So as said in the documentation, we pretty much can get rid of data by just calling $get, okay? And we don't have a reference to the Axios instance. Instead, we can just use this $Axios, okay? And again, we get IntelliSense if we want. We can use get delete, right? And post, etc. So pretty simple. Yeah, everything else stays the same. Tricks, I no longer need to log the tricks, so I'm gonna remove that. Same thing with create tricks here. The only thing that we need to really change is this Axios reference. So let's go ahead and replace it like this. Let's go ahead and also go take this opportunity to go into the index page and really just clear out the set message, the initial state. Let's just keep it as an empty object. We'll remove import Axios. We'll delete the message and remove the commit to set the message. We can keep the commit reference here, but I want to sort of slowly move away from that introduction we did to actually having production code, right? So it has to happen at some point. We take it now rather than later, all right? So that will cause a few things to break in our pages. Let's go ahead and open the index page. Anywhere where we don't set the module for our tricks, that is pretty much where we don't target that module. We don't target the functions, the mutations, etc. We just don't want to use that. So let's go ahead, remove map mutations, map state, The rest here seems all right. I don't think we need this bit here. Let's take care of the comments. Data truck name, we'll leave that for now. In terms of the Axios instance that we have here, don't worry about it. We're gonna push this down. With the message, let's go ahead and remove the reset message bit. We'll leave the rest because this is the part that we're gonna be working with in terms of making it streamline. All right. Let's go ahead and make sure that everything still works. Give this a refresh. Always peep the console and no errors, so that's good, right? I'm going to close the 2 pages regarding the Axios module. The links are going to be available in the description if you want, and I recommend that you check them out because it's just important to have at least an idea of what is available to you, even though you don't know how to use it. Just have a read through, and then maybe somewhere down the line something's gonna sound familiar, and then you're gonna remember, I read it there. Let me go ahead and check. So let's go ahead and split this, right? So you can see at the moment we have the file selection and we have the sort of trick registration in terms of its name on the same page, right? So we kind of want to avoid that. And again, as said before, I'm going to be using the Vuetify documentation to sort of allow you to learn it, to use it the way I do, right? So hopefully by now you have taken a look through the UI components. And again, if you haven't, I highly recommend you do, and think of the component that you would select for this job, right? I don't want 2 separate pages. I want to happen on a single page. What do I use? For me, there is a component called Windows, or if I can find, there is Stepper. So let's go ahead and open Stepper, and then there is also maybe picker no groups, maybe in groups, button groups, Windows, yep. So I'll open those 2. So Steppers, let's take a look. So yeah, here you have it, right? Select video, continue, name of step 2, continue, and then we have step 3, like waiting for upload or something like that, right? Window component. So the window component, again, kind of like the same as the v input field for the v text field, right? So how in here we had the v text field and the v file input, we have the v input. Okay, and that is sort of the base class for these 2, and it just provides some core functionality. Same thing with the window, right? It's just base functionality. You can see that it's sort of laid out differently, and you can do all kinds of different stuff with it. And again, all the examples are here. And again, this is kind of that stepper component replicated using the window. All right. So the important here thing is just to pick the component that you need. Try one, try the other one. Don't agonize too much about it. I'm just gonna go for the stepper because thinking about the business logic, you select the video, that's the first step. You fill out the form, that's the second step. Third step, we want to upload the whole thing. So we might handle doing that in the background, or we might tell the user, hold on a minute here, don't close the browser, stuff like that. But you can still use the site, but don't close the browser, okay? So because we have steps, let's go ahead and use the stepper component. This is what it looks like. As I said before, you can edit in CodePen and see what the component actually gives you. All right, let's go ahead, just open the CodePen and we'll just copy it, right? Why not? So about here, v stepper and everything inside of it. So we got a bunch of items. All right, let's copy it, go back to our browser, IDE, and let's actually go ahead and just paste this here. Okay. So at the moment, because we've pretty much just copied it, you can see how these attributes are laid out. If you have not configured your formatter, if you try to format it, and for me it's Alt Shift F, Control Alt A for writer, and if you haven't configured it, nothing's gonna happen here. So what I recommend you do is you open the settings and you go into code style HTML, and you want to remove the keep line breaks option, and you want to wrap if long, but keep line breaks is the main one. So you pretty much, the only thing that where this might get annoying is that if you're trying to set the line breaks yourself, it will ignore that and it will just override it. Okay, so just be warned, but I'm okay with it. All right, I'm not gonna go ahead and save that. So let's actually take a look at what we have here in this component and what parts can we configure by looking at the API section of the documentation. Okay, so can pretty much start with the root component. We have a V model, so the part of where you are in the stepper can be controlled programmatically via the state as well. Then we have the header part, right? So which step are we on? Step 1, step 2, step 3. The divider, if we go back, is just this line part. Okay, I don't know if you can see it. It's pretty thin, but it's there. Let me sort out my alt tab. Yeah, that's pretty much the divider. It's gonna get a little bit cramped if you have a lot of steps, so be careful. Other than that, you can see that the header is not going to change that much. It's pretty much just going to stay there. The main thing that's changing is the body, so vstepper items. Here we have the items and we have the v content and the value for the step. So if we set this to 1, this step will be displayed. If we set this to 2, step 2 will be displayed. Okay, so let's go ahead and try this. We're gonna set this to 2. We don't actually have E1, so let's go ahead and set this to 2 as well. So let's go ahead back to our app. Looks like we still have an error. Let's just double check. Okay, we're still using E1 here and E1 here. Let's go ahead, change this, and E1 here as well. Yeah, just to, or actually we're setting here, so these are on click events. So we're just gonna get rid of this real quick because we just want to make sure that we're getting the right thing. Still looks like we have an error. Okay, v model, so I can't bind a number, which is my bad. Let's go ahead and just bind the value to 2. Okay. And here you will see that we are on step 2. Continue and cancel don't do anything for us because we can't go back and forth, okay? So what I want to end up with is essentially, first step, you upload the video. Second step, you fill out the form. Third step, confirmation of where you are at currently, okay? So let's go ahead and do this. Let's go ahead, change this back to v model. And yep, actually, let's go ahead and bring those back right here with the E1 value and E1, E1, right? Because that pretty much just worked. We don't want it to be circular though, so but that's something that we can configure. All right, and E1 here as well. Okay, cool. So now going to the data, the trick name for now can stay, and the stage really, or the step that we can call it, let's go ahead, start at 1. And this is something that we're just gonna grab, and we are going to use Ctrl-Shift-Alt-J to essentially select every single occurrence of E1 and then paste in the step, okay? So the occurrence is only going to be selected in this file. Anywhere else that I use E1, that's not going to be affected. So we're essentially just using the step variable instead of E1. Here we're on the error page, just refresh that. I don't know what the error was, but here you can essentially see we're pretty much going in a circular fashion. So I don't want to have these continue and cancel buttons, so let's go ahead and remove them. So they are pretty much located at every single step. If you don't want them to move as part of your form as well, you can go ahead and probably have a v-stepper footer or something like that. Let's go ahead and check. So we're going to go to the stepper. We are going to go down here, and here from the drop down, this is not something, or maybe it is something that you can see on the input fields, but it's basically the child items that can be contained within the v-stepper, okay? So if you have a element, a component that Vuetify provides, you can also have child components that essentially go in here, right? So if you notice, we have v-stepper content that's contained inside v-stepper items, and then we have a v-stepper header, and then we have v-stepper step, okay? So v-stepper step inside the v-stepper header, and v-stepper content inside the v-stepper item. All right, so, and this is pretty much how you can find out what goes in here, okay? And same as before, you will probably notice some of the properties, maybe they're going to be the same. This dark and light theme that you can apply is pretty much the same on all of them. The stepper item doesn't seem to have a lot. The vstepper content only have slots. That's cool. The less props, the better. Let's check the header and the steps. Okay, and the vstepper step seems to have the most configuration, where we can pretty much change the item, or sorry, the icon, and is it complete? We can control the complete icon, etc. Right? So I'm not going to be doing too much modifications. So to the actual icons and stuff like that. So all I want to do is just basically name my steps, right? So video upload, or we just want to be I think being a directive, right, rather than descriptive. So rather, like, instead of saying that this is a video upload section, I want to tell the user what to do, right? So upload video. Okay, let's go ahead and then say trick information, 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 right? Can't spell, but nevertheless, and then failing with the select all, but we'll have confirmation. That's pretty much it. The complete steps are fine with me. What I will do now is for the stepper content that is in here, I will remove the V card, and I will just put a div in here with a tab, and I'll take the file input, and again we'll style it later. For now, we just want to focus on interfacing with our API and building up the functionality there. The tricks part is pretty much useless. All I want is the form here. So let's again just grab the div. Step 2, we will put the stuff here, and the continue and cancel buttons are of no need here. All right. For now, again, we'll just put the div and we'll say success. And maybe we'll vary that message, but later, for now, it doesn't matter. We're not there yet. First, we want to essentially just get to a point where we can start filling out the form and joining it up with the video that we have uploaded. All right, so let's take a look at what we got back here. So we will be able to select a video. After that, we want to be able to pop onto the tricks information. One thing I will do is I will remove this reset tricks button, because it has no purpose here anymore, right? That was just a test for now. Going down to the handle file upload, what we essentially want to do is we don't want to wait on this, okay? Because we're starting the upload and then we're waiting on it. We want to grab this task, we want to store that task, and then once we have filled out the form, that's when we want to check, is this ready? If it is, grab the name of the video, attach it to the trick, and submit the trick. Okay, so let's go ahead and take this video logic and push it down into its individual store. Okay, so we're gonna go into the store and we're gonna create a JS file. We're gonna say videos, same as the controller name. We can open up the trick store, copy everything from here, because we can just follow the same template, right? There's no point of typing everything out all the time. Let's go ahead and create an upload task. We'll set this to null. We will go into the mutation here and we will say set task. We will have a task here, right? Task, and then task. For the reset, again, as I said before, that stays. Fetch tricks, we no longer have the fetch tricks bit and the create tricks. Let's go ahead and actually remove the fetch tricks bit. What we want to do is we want to go to the index. So I'm using Control Tab here. Let's go ahead and just grab the axios call. We'll Control Tab back to the videos. Let's go ahead and remove everything from here. Yep, like that. Paste this here. And instead of storing the result and making this asynchronous, we don't need to. We just need to store the task, okay? So const, and the form itself is something that we are going to accept from the object coming in, okay? So at this point, what we're going to do is we're going to use axios. So let's go ahead and actually just call this dot axios. We'll do post. Again, we don't need to await on this. At this point, this will just post the form and it will respond. And then once it responds, that's when it's going to be stored in the task. But for now, we're essentially just going to wait. All right. We then just want to go ahead and commit this task. This is something that we just want to store. So let's go ahead and set the task. We will pass the task as part of the object, and that's pretty much it. So what I'm going to do is Control Home to get to the top line, remove that unused code. And now what I want to do is I want to surface the state of this store in my tricks store, okay? Or I can use the index page to be the sort of the bridge between the two in one of the functions, okay? And I think it's okay to start with the page, and then we can see what's actually going to be messy. Is it going to be messy? Do we need to clean it up, etc.? So from here on, what we're gonna do is because we have an action here from the videos, let's go ahead map actions. We will grab the videos, and going back here, create trick. This is something that we need to rename to start video upload. Okay, grab the name, put it here, and the form that we have created here, let's go ahead and call this dot start video. There we go, start video upload, and just pass the object with the form in there, a semicolon. The result, we don't need it. Now what we're doing is when we select the file, it's going to just send it up to the server to save, and the result, which should be the name, is going to get stored in that task, which we're later going to await on. So once we start the file upload, we want to go to the next step. So let's go ahead and grab this step, and we want to increment it, okay? Once we're on the next step, we can film the form out. This is where once the form is filled out, we're gonna call save trick. And once we actually do save the trick, this is when we want to grab that file that has been uploading, okay? So to grab the file, we're gonna go to the videos store, and we want to be able to access this upload task. Now, going back to the index, let's go ahead and this map state, because we're really grabbing only the tricks here, let's go ahead and change this to an array to be in the same form in the same format as the map actions and map mutations, okay? We're then just going to copy this. We're going to change this to the videos module, to point to the videos module, put commas on the end because of errors like this. So if I keep adding this, I don't get errors. Grab the upload task, go here and put it here. So now we can actually access this task, right? So here, what we will do is we will basically grab the video from this dot upload task. I mean, I just copied it. I could have grabbed it from clipboard just like that. And remember, because this is going to be a promise or a C# task, right? I'm just gonna confuse the two. We can just go ahead and wait on this. It's gonna give you a little warning, but we know better, all right? So we can also check if this is null or anything. We'll just return from here, and it's probably a good idea to console log something, because, you know, if this error occurs, we want to know about it. So let's just say upload task is null. All right, but in production we want a more meaningful error. So with this video that we're going to get from the upload task, we just want to go ahead and attach it to the trick that we're going to be uploading. Let's not forget about the actual trick. So let's bring it up here. And what we're going to do, I'm going to copy this property, press shift one too many times, and let's just call video, right? So one trick, one video, and later on it's going to evolve to a submission. So a trick is going to be like a category where multiple users can do multiple submissions of their versions of that trick, okay? So going to the index view, here we have the video, again, upload task. Let's go ahead F12 onto this. Let's take a look at this. And okay, so I'm seeing there's basically an inconsistency between tasks. I wanted to actually let's rename this to promise. So what I will do is F2 here, upload promise. Let's do refactor, and it's gonna find a bunch of usages here. You can see that it's even going to rename the console log here for me. The couple of things that it's crossing out here are actually still parts that I need. So I want to include these in the refactor. So right clicking, include, and include this bit. Let's go ahead, run the refactor, and here we have it. The other part for these tasks, I'm just gonna make sure that I am just using consistent names throughout the file, okay? So upload promise, we are in JavaScript world, that is a promise. Let's go back to index.view, just noticing that import that is not being used, and get rid of that. Right, at this point, we're gonna have a video. We're gonna go upload that video. That video is gonna get bound to the trick. One important part is this actually, what is this gonna return? So if we go to the videos controller, we can see here we don't have anything. So on the OK bit here, what we want to do is just return the file name, okay? So that should recompile. So videos controller returns a file name. A trick has a video that we can bind to. So thinking logically, we should get the video here. We should be able to upload it here. Reset the trick name. Let's go ahead and say this step ++. And usually what's going to happen is in here, what we will do is we will check the state of this upload. So we might push it down into the tricks controller, and we will have some loading state here or an updating state, that sort of thing. But because we're waiting here, this action is going to actually block the UI for now. Okay, and that is okay. And what we want to do after is run the resets. Okay, we want to wipe that upload promise, and we want to wipe the form, which for now lives here. Okay, so we're not going to wipe the form, however we are going to wipe the upload promise. So let's go ahead and grab this reset function. So we're going to go to map mutations. Instead we're going to use videos, and instead of reset tricks, we are going to say reset videos. And all we're going to do is we're just going to call it after we save the trick. And usually what I like to do, because handle files is going to happen first, I will just grab the save the trick function, and I will put it below here, just because, you know, sequential execution kind of makes sense. So at the end, let's just go ahead and once I remember how to spell this, let's go ahead and call reset videos. Okay, and this is a function, and that should flush our upload promise. Okay, so at this point, let's go ahead and check out what we got. Going back to the application here, let's go ahead and give this a good refresh. Clear the console. Yeah. One thing, I have a view extension here where we can inspect the store, so go ahead and download it. I'll leave a link in the description, but you should probably already have it by now. So switch to Vuex. Here's where we want to watch the Vuex store. We want to press start recording so we can observe the changes. Let's go ahead and select a file. Select any file, open it. Here we can see a mutation. So a set task, we can see that the upload promise is set to a promise. So now let's go ahead and input a trick. So let's just say sample, or you can get it at sample 1, right? This is our first try. Let's go ahead, press save. We have success. Sample is there. If we go to the networks tab, primary thing that I'm looking for is maybe not this 204 no content, maybe this 200. The 204s, I think this is a no issue kind of thing. It's just something that's going to be there. I'll look into this, but you can see this, I'm not sure. It seems like a familiar issue to me right now, but I'm not going to stop the video to look at it. All right. So this is the response after uploading the video. Here we can see the video that we've been uploading, the binary. We get back the MP4, and then later the 200 where we upload the trick. If we take a look at the headers, we can see that we're actually uploading the video, so that's good. And the preview response, we got nothing. Okay, and click a few things, whatever, that doesn't really matter. If we take a look at the set tricks, we have the one object here. We can see its ID, name, and video. Let's go ahead and actually stream the video. Right? Let's see this. So first of all, let's go ahead to our videos controller. We will need to go to a public async. Will we need async? Let's just start with an iAction result, and let's say get video. Here we will do HTTP get. We will say video. This is just going to be a name. Video here. String video, right? So it's just going to be part of the route. We will be unable to kind of get a list of videos. It's just going to be a specific video, right? So the next thing that we want to return is a new file stream result. Okay, this is going to accept a few things. So if we press F12 on this, writer kind of can let me have the highlights here, but essentially you have a stream and then a media type, a header value, right? So what kind of file are you streaming? Is it a video? Is it an image? What is it, right? So this can really be a file name for now because we might store it in different buckets. You know, this is, you want different actions for images and videos. Maybe not. We will see what works better. Let's go ahead and grab a stream first, right? So let's say using stream, or let's say file stream, let's say var, this will be inline. New file stream, we're gonna have kind of the same part here, right? Except we already have the video name which we're gonna be saving. So save path, let's copy this bit here, and the video is what we're going to append. And kind of the same story here. We have the save path, file mode will be open, so we're going to be opening a file, and file access is read, right? So we're just going to read it. Next thing is just going to be a file stream, and media type header value parse. Let's quickly F12 so a writer will decompile it. It's part of the whole resharper thing, where maybe, let's see, I don't actually know what it's going to do. I guess it's a smart little try parse, and it's an abstract function. Okay, I guess I don't really get to know what it does because it's an abstract class. Let's go ahead and see works, right? I don't think I've used this function before, so all I'll do is I'll just say video. Okay, and that might or might not work. Here we have it. Let's go ahead and get the file running as well. So going back to the the editor, index, scroll all the way up for every trick that we display. Let's maybe drop this to a new line here. That is probably something I will need to fix. By the way, my IntelliJ configuration is available. I'm going to leave a link for that in the description as well. Let's go ahead and actually rename this to a div. Because what I want to do is stick another div in here and a video where I want to supply the src, or rather the source. So let's go ahead and just grab the whole URL, switch back. It's from the videos, and here let's go ahead and do a little bit of string interpolation, right? But goodness, we're gonna do value binding. We're gonna put this in backtext so we can append the value here. We can do a little plus, but this is modern stuff, right? So, and t video. Okay, let's just double check that that's indeed what we have. Going back to the browser, looking at this object, t video. Again, you can double check by looking at your trick object. Here you have the video, right? But it's a little bit more reliable to the store because that's what you are actually getting. So that's where we're gonna get our information from. So src video, that's where we have it. Let's go ahead and refresh here. Looks like I will have to do another upload because every reload essentially clears my singleton. Okay, and let's do sample 2. I mean, we don't have the sample 1, but that's essentially it. Let's go ahead and check the console. We get an internal error. Let's go ahead and check what it is. So opening the console for me, Alt2. Going here, and let's make this a little bit bigger and read the exception. The header contains invalid values at index 0. Okay, so I think I had a run-in with this function. I think it's more about when you are uploading the file. So I think this function should be used with this iform file when we have video.headers or content type. I think that's what it's meant to be parsing, and not this video. So for this video, I'm gonna go back to sorting out my MIME type manually. I'm gonna grab the video. Let's go ahead and split this. Again, I know it's going to be a video, So I'm gonna do /video, and maybe I can do something like this. Let's try that. Let's leave the mime in there. If it doesn't work, we'll see. Right, let's do a refresh. Again, another upload. This will get a little bit repetitive, but what are you gonna do, right? Again, another error. Let's check what it is. Scrolling all the way down to the bottom. Cannot access a disposed object. Okay, so it is basically disposing of the using object that we have here. So let's go ahead, just grab this part here, and we're just gonna put it in the file stream here. So that was my bad. We don't want to put that there. Yeah, I think that should be okay. Let's try this again. We'll give this another refresh. Let's go ahead, upload. All right, trick name. You can see I'm getting very creative, and here we have it, right? So let's make the width a little bit smaller. So let's say width, what, 400? Will that work? Yeah, so there we have it. Controls. Let's see this. Yeah, here we have the controls. And there it is. Okay, so essentially more or less streamline file upload. We are going to be refining it over time, but for now just simple approaches, simple concepts to understand, and just baby steps, and in time we will have a fully fledged working application. Okay, but yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this episode. If you did, leave a like, subscribe. I also Twitch on stream, if that sentence just made sense. I stream on Twitch Wednesdays, Sundays. Come join me, come join Discord. I do a lot of announcements there, and hopefully I'll see you in my other episodes.